What is up? What is up? Welcome back to 5 Stars, 5 Points, hosted by me, Spread Astaire, and I'm here with 5 Star, who's not only are you doing shows with me, you're doing shows on ESPN as well. Love hearing those segments, and we're going to go over some of the same stuff today.
Right.
Let's jump right in. The big news in college football obviously was Alabama losing. We personally didn't see it coming. What were your thoughts on that game, and can Alabama still win the national championship?
Hey, man. Greetings to all the wagering world. Tough week on our five-star pick of the week, man. Five-star play of the week, pardon me, with Alabama going down in the first half. We had that minus 13 and a half, us and probably the rest of the whole globe. It was one of the few times in life that a rare occasion that happened where Nick Saban got out coached, where he didn't have his team ready coming out. And Jimbo Fisher lived up to what the thing that he told all of the boosters in Houston. I don't know if you heard him. He said he was going to kick their ass, and
Yeah.
that's what he did. And he backed it up. If anything, what I took from the game not only was that Alabama wasn't prepared and that they underestimated A&M that game, but also I think Saban underestimated Fisher. You can tell by when they reporters even brought up to him about what Fisher said about what he was going to do to him. He took it very lightly. He said it wasn't golf. He was very arrogant and confident about that. So Coach Saban is human, and he seemed like the same thing that we complained about Lane Kiffin the following week with his arrogance. Then ended up making where Ole Miss wasn't prepared and came out hot dogging at the beginning of the game and ended up getting behind into insurmountable amount of points. Um, Happened with Coach Saban. He came out a little cocky, man. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure you go search the interview when they asked Nick Saban about Coach Fisher's comments about beating him. He used different wording, but Nick Saban seemed pretty confident that Alabama would win. So I could say that he came in a little bit taking those guys, underestimating them. And another point that I got from that game was that Texas A&M has underachieved, if anything, this year. We all know coming into the season what type of personnel that they had. They decided to play this week. I'm still, I just still can't see how when they had their starting quarterback against Colorado in the first half, they scored 7 points with that team. But I mean, just like all of humans do, we evolve and get better with repetition. And I guess Jimbo Fisher had to, kind of figure out what he's going to do with his team. But man, he's been on the board. Maybe that's another reason they started out slow is because he may have only been concentrating so hard on this game and pretty much took those other ones for granted that they lost, that he was
Yeah.
completely prepared for Alabama, man. If you see the plays that they got, if you break down the film, hey, he drew some of the plays that people are going to be using for the rest of the season on Alabama. You can believe that the way he was using the motion, bringing the motion out wide, getting Alabama linebackers in all type of trouble with the plays that Coach Fisher ran. He called an excellent game, man. And props to Zach Cazal. Just like I said, he could play this game a million times again. He wouldn't have the same game. But for this one moment in time, he did his thing, man. So props to that kid. Stood in the pocket tall and made the pass of the game to tie the ball game up. And actually took his knee out, man. I thought he was going to be gone the rest of the game. And then after that, I don't know what they shot in him in the 10th, but he came out afterwards, man. So salute to him, salute to Jimbo Fisher and the whole Aggie program. Got a lot of friends down there at Texas A&M. I'm happy for you guys. Rest in peace to my guy PJ, man. PJ used to play for Texas A&M, and PJ Simeon. I'm sure a lot of A&M fans know him. He played football there. He's a close friend of mine. Unfortunately, passed in a car accident a couple years ago. And we used to go down there to Texas A&M, have a grand time, man. So I know he's smiling down about A&M. Getting to Alabama, can they win the national championship? Sorry, I've been a little long-winded on that.
No, it's
Uh,
what we're here for.
yeah, national on the national championship, they definitely have a chance. Looking at their schedule, um, they're pretty much their destinies is still in their hands, man. Even after that loss, because as I said before, A&M they underachieved the beginning of the season. So since they underachieved, they have two losses, and they're the only ones who really can affect Alabama. Alabama would have to lose again for A&M to jump them. And honestly, I just can't see the Tide losing again. If anything, this terrible performance is going to motivate them. Nick Saban's going to really be on them tough now. Um, the rest of their schedule is, let's see, they got Mississippi State this week. I clearly see that as a victory. Coming up after that, I don't see anyone who can give them any problems. The Iron Bowl, of course, but Auburn doesn't have a team to compete with them this season. So I definitely like Alabama to complete the rest of their slate without another loss until they get to the SEC championship game, where they get a chance to play Georgia. They beat Georgia, which they can beat Georgia. Not before this occurred, before they lost to A&M, I actually would have picked Georgia to win the SEC championship game. Now, would have motivated Nick Saban and an advantage Alabama has a quarterback to, in my opinion, with Bryce Young over Stetson Kid over Georgia. I think that Alabama is going to be trying to show the world that they're still Alabama now at the SEC championship game. So I like them still to get to the playoffs. Uh, Georgia would also get there at that point. So they definitely can still win the national championship because even though they lost and it was an embarrassing performance by the Tide, they still hold their own destiny, so they still have a chance to go. So definitely Alabama can still win the national championship because they still have the best team, man.
All right, definitely good answer there. We don't mind the long-windedness. We definitely love all the information. So that was the big upset last week. So let's move into this question. Which team is in danger of an upset now this week? Which upset are we going to be talking about next week on Five Stars, 5 points?
It's a couple people who have to, a couple teams, pardon me, that need to be definitely aware of the upset. But the one that I see uh, most evident would be Tennessee, man. They're a small dog at home, but they get Ole Miss a night game. Knoxville's gonna be rocking. Their favorite person, I hate to be pulling up the town, which is Coach Lane Kiffin.
Mhm.
Um, Josh Heupel has taken over the Vols program and updated it, got it up to speed with what's going on in college football today. They've always had the athletes. They've always had outstanding burners on the outside, great running backs, great skill players, great linemen. Tennessee has a long tradition, man. It just needed the right person uh, at the head coaching position. And I think that Josh Heupel, with his past being a national champion as a player and also having a great past coaching, that he's going to do a good job over there. He just has to get his recruiting right. As long as they're able to get the recruiting right, he'll be solid. But Hendon Hooker has been balling, man. I don't even understand why him and Milton, the other transfer, Hendon Hooker transferred, pardon me, from Virginia Tech to Tennessee. Afterwards, they also got Milton from Michigan. They were kind of like competing for the job. Right now, I can't even tell why Hooker uh, ever was in danger of losing his position, man. He's looked outstanding running the offense. He's had 13 touchdowns and one interception. I know that stadium's going to be rocking. They're going to be ready for them. And the main thing that we have to pay attention to on this game is that Ole Miss defense is horrible, man. They're one of the worst defenses in college football, man. They're giving up 432 yards per contest, while Tennessee's offense is averaging 473 yards per game per contest. And they're also scoring 41 and a half points a game, man, while Ole Miss is giving up 31 a game. They don't have any deep. Tennessee is kind of, in the middle of the pack when it comes to defense. They're going to have a better chance of holding down Mississippi's offense, I think, than Mississippi's defense will of containing the Vols. So I definitely would like Tennessee to pull out, look for Tennessee to pull out the upset in this one, man.
All right, so Ole Miss, the team in danger of an upset this week. Let's go on to the next of the 5 points. Let's talk about a game that I think is fairly interesting here. Baylor -6.5 going against BYU. What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, actually, it's dropped to 5 now, so we have a lot of money coming in. Especially I live in the Las Vegas area, as you know.
Mhm.
It's a lot of fans and a lot of money from the Mormon community in Las Vegas. So
Wow,
I'm
that's
sure
not
that.
something you expect to hear often, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're flooding the books. They love the Cougars, man, in this area of the
Mhm.
country, and they're definitely jumping all over the touchdown that the book's giving away for their team, the number 19th ranked Cougars on the road at BYU. Baylor was very impressive last week, man, routing West Virginia 45-20. I've always been a fan of Dave Aranda. He comes from LSU, the defensive coordinator for years. He's finally getting in the guys that he wants. He has Jared Bohannon, which is a quarterback who's having an outstanding season, man. He has 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Him and Matt Corral from Ole Miss are the only quarterbacks in college football with 1,000 yards passing and no interceptions. Man, he's doing a great job over there. They got great weapons on the outside. BYU is slipping into this game after their first defeat. They lost to Boise State. Boise State held the Cougars to 17 points. I'm sure Coach Satake's going to have his team, fired up and ready to go. But Jaron Hall, who is their quarterback, he's an athlete, playmaker, but he's always going for the big play, man. He's only hitting at 59% of his passes. His big play receiver on the outside is Gunnar Romney. Yeah, pardon me, Gunnar Romney. And Gunnar Romney is going to have a difficult time with David Ronda's press defense. He's going to have a difficult time getting open, getting over the top on them. I think that Baylor is going to give BYU a rude introduction to what Big 12 life will be like for them initially. And now that it's -5, I really love it. So I expect Baylor to win by a touchdown or more. I think they're going to control the game. I think their defense will make it very difficult on BYU. And I think athletically, across the board, they won't be able to match up with Baylor.
All right, so the pick there is to lay the points with Baylor. And yeah, since the time that we talked this morning, the numbers moved in our favor. Always like to see that. So
Yeah.
laying a little less, moved through that key number of 6. Pretty happy about that. So that'll be a fun one for us to cheer in tomorrow. But this one is tonight. It's Syracuse. They're catching 13.5 against Clemson. Obviously, Clemson, the team, struggled, right, since losing Trevor Lawrence here. They're trying to reestablish their program, that it wasn't just a one-man program, and see what Dabo's got going here. So this should be a big game for the Clemson Tigers. What do you expect here tonight?
Um, when I put this game in motion, a lot of things have changed since then. But with that said, I still like to lean Syracuse on this game. I believe one of the receivers for Clemson that's vital to their offense actually will be returning this game. I think it's a game time decision, so keep your ears open for that, guys, before you lay this game. But Dino Babers from Syracuse is always giving Dabo Swinney great games. You know that. Clemson defense is great. They're only allowing 12 points per game. But Syracuse, surprisingly, is right behind them. Syracuse has a formidable defense of its own. They're actually allowing less passing yards than Clemson does on defense. And they're very, very, like I said, formidable as well against the run. They played all of the games have been close. They could easily be 5-1. Syracuse has been balling, man, especially since they put in Garrett Schrader. That's a transfer quarterback they had from Mississippi State. He plays a little wild, but he's a playmaker. He can scramble, he can run, and that's the type of thing that gives defenses like Clemson that are really strong, play everything right, follows the coach's instructions, and always in the right places. Problems. You can't account for a quarterback who makes plays on his feet when the plays break down. There's no way around it. It's what always gave Alabama problems as well on defense when they had those lights out defenses. Garrett Schrader is a runaround playmaker. He's a quarterback that can make things happen on the fly. And I think he's going to be able to keep the orange in the game with his playmaking. Not to mention they have a star running back with their freshman, Sean Tucker. He's a beast, man. He has 11 touchdowns he's accounted for, 2 in the air, 9 on the ground. The quarterback for Clemson has been struggling, DJ Uagale, pardon me.
Yeah,
To say that like 10 times fast as you can. We just gonna call him DJ the rest of the way.
sounds like a plan.
Well, DJ, man, hasn't performed up to the hype that he had coming in this year. Most Clemson fans didn't feel like the program would have fell off at all this year, let alone lose 2 games. The loss to Georgia was admirable. We know what type of team Georgia has. To play them 10-7 was just shows how strong the defense is and how strong the coach Dabo Swinney is. Now that we look back, but they lost to NC State was disappointing. Syracuse is really a tough-minded team. They play hard on offense and defense. And as I said, Dino Babers, he's always gave Dabo Swinney all he could offer. He's beaten him before. How many coaches in the ACC can say that? Clemson's 2-5 against the spread in the last 7 meetings with Dino Babers. It's a Friday night in the Carrier Dome, man. You know how crazy things get on Friday night. So I'm always going to take a home dog on Friday night, and I'm going to have to live with it no matter how big the name. A lot of people are saying because on some late information I'm hearing from some of my guys that Clemson had the week off. They've worked hard on trying to get the offense going. A lot of guys like Clemson first half -7. I'm
Mm.
going to just stick with my initial thoughts, and we're going to go with Syracuse plus 13.5. All of the games that came down to the wire. I don't see anything different in this one. And if it was a Saturday morning game, I would feel a lot more sketchy about taking Syracuse. But with it being a Friday night game, standalone, I really like Syracuse plus 13.5.
All right, we're going to grab Syracuse plus 13.5 in that rocking home field, right? What a home dog here. Here's another one. We got another home dog here, but they're going against Michigan State. And I'm talking about Indiana, of course, as the dog in this game. What are your thoughts on this game?
Oh, on this one, Michigan State is still one of my favorite teams this year, man. They're so underrated. Um, like I said, they're the gift that keeps on giving. The books have not caught on yet to them. They don't have a lot of respect for them at all. Last week, they were only laying 5 to 4.5, depending on what shop you caught it, at Rutgers, and blew the doors on them. I don't think that the book has respected the offense that Michigan State has now. They're so used to them being just a Big Ten bruiser. They're not watching enough film or something on this team to understand that they have three of the best playmakers on the same team in college football. And they have also a rock solid quarterback who's pulling the trigger. And like I told you before in the earlier broadcast, he's a coach's son, and his grandfather also was a coach. So he's pretty smart, knows how to get them in the right running plays and the right passing plays. Outside, he has his boy Jaden Reed. They went to high school together, man. It doesn't get any, better chemistry than that. They've been
Mm-hmm.
throwing the ball to each other since they were 14 years old. Now they're
Yeah.
playing on the Big Ten, and they're killing it, man. And Jaden Reed is a touchdown waiting to happen, whether he's returning punts or he's going deep or catching just a stop route and shaking the defender and taking the 80. On the other side, they have a real burning Jalen Naylor. Jalen Naylor is a beast. He's ready to play on Sundays already. He's a physical specimen. He knows how to get open. He's explosive. He gets to the end zone, doesn't drop any passes. Then in the backfield, they have the Wake Forest transfer, Kenneth Walker III, who's the early guy. He has to be the early Dope Walker front runner, man. He's been the man. Kenneth Walker III is the best player on every tape when I've watched Michigan State play, no matter who they played. So Indiana, I know it's their homecoming. I know they're fired up, but we have several factors that's going to be leaning our way in this game to make us want to go with Michigan State. And the main thing is this: last year, Indiana went to East Lansing and blew the doors on them. They beat them 24-0. They held Michigan State scoreless. Mel Tucker was the coach. Mel Tucker finally has the guys he needs. He is going to beat that into these guys all week about that 24-0 loss. Michigan State is going to be ready when they come out. Indiana is missing their quarterback. He's out. Their backup will be playing this week. Tuttle. Their normal starter, he's going to be out. Michael Penix. He's a playmaker. He's been struggling this year, but if he was playing, it would be a lot tougher for me to pick this guy. And Tuttle's a pocket passer. He's going to be sitting. He's going to be sitting duck for the pass rush from Michigan State. They already shut down the run off the muscle. They're going to be playing from behind, trying to come back. So it's going to be sack season, man. I like Michigan State to run away with this one. I like them to bring back the trophy. The trophy's called I was telling the guys a spittoon, the old brass spittoon. Do you know what a spittoon is, Greg?
It's something from a ship back in the day.
A great guess. It's actually something they say that you spit snuff into.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I figure sailors will be doing a lot of that.
yeah, right. So they'll be bringing back the old brass spittoon, man, to East Lansing. So that gets us to the 5-star pick of the week, guys.
That's
And it's
right.
going to be
5 star.
Michigan State, man, -4.5. You guys go get it now. It might be 6 by the time the game starts. They're going to run over Indiana. It's Indiana's homecoming. It's got nothing that Mel Tucker would like more than to embarrass Indiana on their homecoming after they came to East Lansing last year and embarrassed him, and they didn't put a point on the board. So take it all day. You got a better team, the better coach. Indiana's quarterback is out, and the book is lacking respect. They're way behind on Michigan State. So the 5-star pick of the week is Michigan State -4.5. Man, let's get back on the winning streak spread.
Yeah, I can't wait. So we got the 5 star pick of the week. I'm putting that one in right now. I don't want to miss the line movement. And of course, you've been watching 5 stars, 5 points, always culminated with the pick of the week. So you guys got to love that. You got anything else before we get out of here?
Hey guys, let's get on a winning streak. Let's have a great week. We got a tough schedule this week. This is the time of the year when the bookmakers are getting a little bit sharper and sharper on these lines and getting them to the T. So it's going to be a tight week. If you guys don't do any in-game betting, I suggest that you get into it, man. Try to do your studies on in-game betting. It's a lot better advantage that you can find in-game. I make a lot of my money when I can't find the spread I want before the game by catching the spread within the game. So if you get a chance, you guys try to invest into learning a little bit about in-game betting. You can catch me every Thursday on Houston 97.5 on the bench with Lance Zerline and John Granada. You can catch me every Friday here with my guy Spread Astaire, man, at 5 stars, 5 points. Good luck to all.
Yeah, that's right. And if you want any more tips about the in-game betting, make sure you're following 5 star at 5 star in Vegas. Spell out the five, FIVE. Sometimes he's putting them up. Hey, I'm hitting Virginia right now. I'm hitting Virginia Tech right now. I'm
Right.
hitting A&M right now. So this could be a nice way. You see what he's doing. You'll get a little feel for, it. Especially after you cash a couple of them. Right, you'll get a little more
Right.
confidence. So
And
make sure you're
I'm
following
always
five
open
star.
on the DM too, Spread. I want you guys to know, feel free. I answer most of my DMs if I don't answer that day, but I don't have notifications on because a lot of times I'm also betting live myself or watching the
Mhm.
game international on my phone, so it's caught up. But
Yeah.
if you guys send me a DM, I love to answer back. If I don't get back to you in a day, it will be within a couple days, man, and I'll answer any questions you guys have.
All right. And we'll be back next week. Make sure you hit 5 star with all your questions at 5 star in Vegas. Spell out the five, FIVE. We'll be back next week. Let's go, Michigan State.